this month is all about balance. And where I live, it gets really cold and really icy and really snowy. And I know that's not the case for everybody. But where I live, I find that sometimes it's good to find your center and find your balance, especially in winter. And so today we're going to start with some modifications for mountain pose. Now, mountain is such a good pose, and there are so many modifications that you can do for mountain pose. So today we're going to talk about how we can vary it to help us with our balance and to help our students who may be struggling with finding their balance and safe ways that we can do that. So as we come into this pose, we'll start with the feet, about hip width apart. Now, if you want to make this more challenging, you're going to bring the feet closer together. If someone is struggling with their balance and you want to make it easier, we're going to take the feet wider. So wider stance is easier, closer stance is harder, is more challenging. So we're going to come into our pose here as we lift the toes and roll them down. We're lifting through the inner arch of the foot. We're not lifting it off of the ground, but we're engaging so the inner ankles don't collapse, basically. We're going to lift the kneecaps up to engage the quads, right of the thighs. We check in with the pelvis, and then we roll the shoulders back and open as we come into mountain, right? We have a marionette string, an invisible string coming out of the tops of our heads, holding us in proper alignment, including all of the natural curves of the spine. We're not having a flat back and getting rid of those natural curves. Those natural curves should be there. So as we come into this, a very, very simple modification. And if someone is struggling with balance, I would definitely say be near a wall, maybe have their hand on the wall, whatever position. They could have their hand on the side. They could have both hands this way. They could stand really close to with their back near the wall. If they, you have to go with whatever level they're at. So, or you're at. So as we come in here, all we're going to do, keeping the sternum or the breastbone lifted, spreading wide across the collarbones or clavicles, okay? And it helps sometimes if they don't want to use a wall, they're kind of in between. You can bring the hands to the hips, and that sometimes can be kind of grounding. And we just close the eyes, being careful to keep the chest nice and lifted. We're gently bringing the belly button towards the spine, but we're not just clenching it there. So we just close the eyes, and for some people, this is a challenge. So focus on the points of your feet that are in contact with the mat to increase that proprioceptive awareness in your feet. So when we talk about that, we're talking about the body adjusting for the ground that we're walking on or what we're standing on, basically. And we can bring the hands here if that's better, bring the hands here. So if that is too easy, we can lift the heels. Now, the lower that you lift the heels, the easier it's going to be. You could lift them way up here to make it more of a challenge. Bring the arms up. To make it easier, you could bring the arms just part way up, or you can do one heel. Keep one down, bring one up. And you can hold this, as long as you want to. And you can kind of make it active too, make it a little bit more. But we're strengthening the feet, we're strengthening the ankles, and we are, again, with the eyes, we're kind of helping that central nervous system be aware and hopefully kind of, what should we say, gives it a tune-up, kind of wakes it up a little bit and helps us to be a little more grounded and find a little more balance.